Hello everyone, I'm Babla Jonathan and this is the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe Television live from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. In our top stories in this edition of the news, the first 72 hours of 2020 record a series of incidents in the crisis-hit northwest and southwest regions of the Republic of Cameroon. We shall show you some of those incidents recorded in the Anglophone parts of Cameroon in this newscast. And the network of human rights defenders in Central Africa, REDAC, says that the recent accusation of an unnamed non-governmental organization caught with guns in an unknown part of the southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon by the Minister of Territorial Administration at Tanganji Paul is a mere threat meant to frighten or intimidate civil society actors. And concerning the President of the Republic's address to the nation 31st December 2019, the Executive Director of REDAC says that the President, Paul Biya, was inconsistent. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on this edition of the news on Equinoxe Television. We begin right away in the crisis-hit Anglophone regions of the Republic of Cameroon. The two regions have already recorded a series of incidents in the first 72 hours of 2020. For me, Armstrong Sander has more.
Crossing over the 2020 was a difficult one to inhabitants of the city of Bamenda in the northwest region. Few minutes after the president called for armed individuals to deposit their arms, the city of Bamenda got buried in sporadic gunshots reported in neighborhoods like Chobo, Mbengwi Roads, Roundabout and Travelers. Early January 1st, 2020, mile 14 Boya, Southwest Regional Chief Town, a tense gun battle left a vehicle reduced to ashes on the major highway. Later that day, the gun battle extended to the Muya neighborhood of the town of Buya and finally to Muyuka subdivision within Fako, where the office of the divisional officer was burned. Observers have not ceased to question how it happened, given the proximity of the DIO's office to a joint security control post in Muyuka. Early January 2nd, 2020, inhabitants of Wat Village in Kame Central Subdivision, Northwest Region, discovered the lifeless body of a popular businessman and president of the Kame Drivers Union, Abanda Godlove Ndi, alias Njibaba, beside a church. Family sources say he was abducted in Gi Market, Njab Village on December 31st, 2019 by suspected separatist fighters, whisked to an unknown destination where he will finally be assassinated. An assassination that has sent shockwaves across Kambe, generating anger from amongst the population. Same day, reports say a confrontation between the army and separatist fighters left at least 4 persons dead and 6 others severely injured in Taku village in Du subdivision. In Bengwi, in the Momo division, the building hosting the divisional delegation of housing and urban development and that of environment and nature protection was almost completely burned by yet to be identified individuals.
And we're going to take you right away to the Momo divisional delegations of forestry and wildlife and urban housing and urban development set ablaze by unidentified persons. Even though the entire structure was not reduced to ashes, enormous material damage was recorded in that incident. And a correspondent in the Northwest region, Bustela, reports.
Elements of the Defense and Security Forces in Bengwi punctured an attempt at burning this structure, hosting the Momo Divisional Delegations of Forestry and Wildlife and Housing and Urban Development. The incident in Bengwi is said to have occurred on January 1st, 2020 at about 8 p.m. as a greater part of the population were feasting. Sources say the fire was lit and sent into the offices via the windows, reason why the building seems untouched from the outside, but the material damages are enormous. Office equipments like photocopiers, desktop computers, documents, among others, are items lost to the flames by the Divisional Delegation of Housing and Urban Development. Since the escalation of the Anglophone crisis, cases of burning are not too common in Bangui. This incident might just be an indication to the population and administrative authorities of Momo that there is an urgent need for vigilance by all.
And the network of human rights defenders in Central Africa, REDAC, has qualified a recent accusation against a non-governmental organization which is said to have been caught with guns in the southwest region of the country as a mere threat to frighten or intimidate civil society organizations. It should be noted that the Minister of Territorial Administration, Atanganji Paul, in his accusation did not name the non-governmental organization nor the place where the non-governmental organization was caught with guns in the southwest region of the country. And Maximilien Ngombe, Executive Director of REDAC, reacting to the end-of-year address to the nation of the President of the Republic, said that Paul Biya was inconsistent. Hemin Duga reports.
Amongst the explosive number of civil society actors in Cameroon working for the welfare of the vulnerable exist a handful who go through tough times to achieve their goals. Quite often they are threatened, and most recently they have been accused of smuggling arms into the troubled regions while channeling help. Maximilien Ngombe is a civil society actor, and according to her, the accusation is unfounded as there are no proofs, which in case existed should have been shown to the media so as to discredit the civil society actors. She considers the accusations a threat.
Montrer à vous tous les journalistes et à la communauté nationale internationale, n'est-ce pas, ces photos.
But above all odds, she promises to keep the fight.
The fight is now coming. I wanted you to know that I will make all my best to make that we have the peace in Northwest.
And on the president's end-of-year speech, Maximilien Ngombe says the speech was simply in patches and wasn't consistent. She anyway appreciates the end-of-year gifts to the victims of the crisis by the state, which she says affirms the state recognizes there is a problem.
Donc cela veut dire que eux-mêmes ne sont pas certains que tout ce qu'ils ont mis jusqu'à.
Though intensifying actions for the welfare of the vulnerable and victims of circumstances in a critical moment, Maximilien Ngombe stands credible in the eyes of international humanitarian actors who have gotten her receive additional awards.
Yesterday, we showed you how the reintegration of Amber ex-fighters, or better still, separatist ex-fighters, is underway in the northwest regional capital, Bamenda. And today, in the same vein, we are taking you to Buea, the regional capital of the southwest region of the country. And we're going to be showing you how the reintegration process has equally been launched with the aim of ensuring that the ex-fighters are back on the normal life trend. Derek Jato reports on Buea.
The Southwest Regional Center of the Disarmament, Demobilization and Reintegration has launched its reintegration process. Madame Doberta, Special Advisor to the Cameroon Prime Minister and Head of Government, was the bearer of the Prime Minister's message.
The first batch is graduating from the center and to become responsible and hard-working citizens, ready to participate in the development efforts of our country, Cameroon.
And the special advisor also gave a piece of advice to those who will soon be reintegrated into the society of what is expected of them.
I urge you to be of an exemplary moral standing wherever you find yourselves in society, and spread the message of reconciliation and living together.
The management of this Southwest Regional Center said the number is above 90 and accommodation is today a challenge. When will the said first batch leave this center? What jobs have been made available for them? And what about their accommodation situation, since most of them lost their properties, including their houses? Remains the questions to be answered only by the National Commission, which is directly under the Cameroon Prime Minister and head of government.
The commission created by the President of the Republic of Cameroon to disarm and demobilize separatist fighters in the two Anglophone regions of the country and reintegrate them into the normal life train, as well as ex-Boko Haram fighters in the far north region of the country, has been on the ground, notably in the two Anglophone regions of the country, working, and many of the ex-fighters have left the bushes and they are now in the centers, the GDR centers in Bamenda and Boya, undergoing or going through the reintegration process. In the meantime, the separatist activities continue, with many of the separatists remaining in the bushes, and the President of the Republic has issued a stiff warning against those still in the bushes, indicating that if they do not come out of the bushes, there will be no option other than fighting them with the forces of defense and security deployed in those parts of the country. A declaration, once more interpreted as a declaration of war, which could have very negative consequences on the situation on the ground. In the meantime, the people of Bambili in the northwest region of the country have been urged to support and stand behind the new fund in order to work for the development of their village and also for the restoration of peace and normalcy in that part of the northwest region. Stella reports.
The 53rd edition of the World Peace Day was celebrated by parishioners of the Roman Catholic Church alongside the Presbyterian Church of Cameroon in the Coupe-Maningouba Division, southwest region of Cameroon. According to the religious leaders, it was an occasion for them to pray for the return of normalcy in the two English-speaking regions of the country.
I also prayed for peace, not just peace in the Anglophone region, peace in the world, peace in our mind. The Pope and other religious leaders will be praying for peace in Assisi. So we also prayed for peace in our hearts, in our families, and above all in our region, in Cameroon. And as well, we also exhorted the Christians to follow the motherly attitude of the Blessed Virgin Mary. So we reflected on the motherhood of the Blessed Virgin Mary. And I think God will bless us.
Internally displaced persons in the course of the prayer session were offered foodstuffs as well as some basic necessities that could help sustain them for a short while. A gesture greatly appreciated by most of them.
Yes, we want to thank God that by the special grace we are celebrating 1st of January, New Year Day 2020. And as a tradition, we have decided to celebrate with the IDPs, the poor, the distressed. Every time, no service can go without us praying for the peace of our country. And because of the crisis we have in Anglophone Cameroon, the number of IDPs has increased. Those who are benefited has increased, even though the purchasing power has reduced. So we are praying and will continue to pray that peace should return so that the burden should be light.
We're very happy. We are very happy with the gifts offered by the church. We thank the pastors and the entire congregation. We pray that peace should return in Cameroon.
We pray for the peace.
According to the United Nations organization, over 900,000 persons have been internally displaced by the Anglophone crisis, and some 4.2 million persons in need of humanitarian assistance in the northwest and southwest regions.
Religious leaders of the Roman Catholic Church and the Presbyterian Church in the Cameroon in Coupe-Maningouba southwest region of the country, and Christians praying for return to peace and normalcy in Anglophone Cameroon, and also putting their hands together to help persons who have been kicked out of their homes by violence in the context of the Anglophone crisis. And while the Christians are praying, the people of Bambili have been urged to stand behind their fund, to collaborate with the new fund in efforts to restore peace and normalcy in that part of the northwest region of the country, and also for the development of the community. A correspondent in the northwest region, Stella, fires in details.
Tradition has been respected at the Bambili Fonds Palace as Prince Awemu Charles becomes His Majesty Afuntri III of Bambili, succeeding Tamukum II, who disappeared months back. A huge crowd of Bambili sons and daughters stands out at the palace esplanade despite challenges posed by the socio-political crisis to, among others, perform the acceptance rites.
To show that we are all united and we have accepted the new fund that unanimously we have chosen to rule the Bambili people. Yes, that is the significance of this come ourselves in support of the coronation or the enthronement of this our Afuntri III.
They were joined in this exercise by friends and well-wishers.
The tradition of the north, the grass field is the same. The fund is rubbed with the camwood, and the people who accept the fund, they do same to say this is their father. Nobody will contest after this because the fund has been shown now to the public. So the tradition of the Northwest is just unique when it comes to the camwood issue. You will see everybody with the camwood issue on the forehead.
The Reverend Job Ignatius, Northwest representative of the moderator of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon, described His Majesty Afuntri III as God's choice to deliver His purpose in Bambili.
This is the beginning where we want to see how tradition and Christianity can blend together, especially in the African context, because we are talking about a religion that came to visit us. But now we are working the practicals of it. I see it in Bambili here.
Sons and daughters of Bambili and beyond have been advised to stand by their ruler if Bambili, current host to the University of Bamenda, must rise against the several ills that has befallen villages in the Northwest region, causing many funds to flee their villages.
And the police is stepping up the fight against illegal activities across the country. And one of such illegal activities gaining grounds is the trafficking of human bones. And the police arrested some individuals accused of trafficking human bones in Yaoundé. They were presented to the public, and Police Commissioner Babangida Amadou said that the alleged human bones traffickers were arrested in the Fandina neighborhood in Yaoundé. Manjikan Gebre reports.
5 famous or chin bones, 6 tibias, 2 radios and 1 coccyx were the items collected by the officers of the Judicial Police in Yaoundé from some alleged bone traffickers. According to Commissioner Babangida Amadou, head of Intervention and Research Unit of the Judicial Police, they got the information about the 3 bone traffickers from informant in Fandena. It is from the information gathered that he descended to the field with his elements for an operation which led to the arrest of these 3 alleged bone traffickers. The 3 alleged bone traffickers, whose ages range from 30 to 50 years, will have to continue answering questions from the security officers as investigation continues.
And the new apostolic administrator of the Boye Diocese of the Roman Catholic Church, His Lordship Michael Bibi, Auxiliary Bishop of the Bamenda Diocese of the Roman Catholic Church, has been received by Catholic faithfuls in the songs of praise and worship to God in the Southwest Regional Chief Town. Boya, the man of God, reached his new station yesterday, and it should be noted that he's going to be working as apostolic administrator of Boya and auxiliary bishop of Bamenda. Derek Jato reports.
Bishop Michael Bibi climbed down at the Mongo Bridge and walked into the Southwest region for the first time as the apostolic administrator of the Boya Diocese, appointed December 28, 2019 by Pope Francis to the top spiritual assignment. Catholic faithfuls drawn from all the 36 parishes that made of the Boya Diocese ushered their new shepherd into Boya with songs of praise and thanksgiving to God.
A good spirit of joy, happiness, and what have you. We are happy to receive a new bishop, and you can see around Mongo all the Christians are with all jubilation. We thank God for 2020 gifts.
And in their hands were peace plans. This region called the Southwest region has known no peace for years now, and as the auxiliary bishop of Bamenda in the Northwest region, also hit by the crisis, Bishop Michael Bibi is also leaving the situation. He was even abducted sometime in the past, and as he drove along the route of Modeka, Chico, Mutengeni, and great support, the man of God met some stops to bless his Christians, telling them that he is happy to be here and honored to be their servant.
Almighty God bless you, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Come down upon you.
Very glad. I'm very happy to see our bishop in Goya.
At the Simosopo Cathedral, Bishop Michael Bibi, the apostolic administrator of the Buea Diocese, was warmly welcomed by Bishop Emeritus Emmanuel Boshu. The Christians of the Buea Diocese on their part thank the Holy Father for what they qualified as a special New Year gift to them.
What an exciting way of starting the new year. Happy New Year to everyone. We are sincerely happy to receive you and to have you as our pastor, especially as our dearly beloved, simple, humble, prayerful, and holy Father, Bishop Emmanuel Boshu, retires after tirelessly serving us for over 13 years.
Then his first benediction as the new apostolic administrator ended the ceremony.
Happy New Year to all of you.
With a roundup of news on the African continent, beginning from Algeria, which has a new government, and then to Guinea-Bissau, where an opposition candidate who won the election has pledged to modernize and unify the country, notably with the help of his former rivals.
As president of Algeria following a controversial election, Abdelmajid Tebboune Thursday formed his government. His cabinet composes 39 members. Reflecting a strong degree of continuity, Tebboune filled 4 or 5 key posts with leaders who figured in a reshuffled administration unveiled just 2 days before Bouteflika was ousted. The positions include Foreign Ministry, Interior, Housing, Justice and Finance Ministries. Tebboune was elected last month in a poll marked by an official turnout of less than 40%, with a month-long protest movement boycotting a vote they saw as a plus by the establishment to consolidate its power. The unprecedented movement forced long-term President Abdelaziz Bouteflika to step down in April 2019. In Guinea-Bissau, former Prime Minister Umaro Sissoko Embalo has been elected president after winning a run-off vote against another ex-Prime Minister. The 47-year-old beat his rival Domingos Simões by about 54% to 46%. He promised to contest the results, alleging electoral fraud. Incumbent President Mario Vaz crashed out of the election in the first round in November. The opposition candidate and former chief, now President Umaro Sissoko, served as Prime Minister between 2016 and 2018. He has vowed to modernize Guinea-Bissau and pledging to unify the nation and gaining the backing of eliminated candidates. As president, he will face major challenges like poverty and drug trafficking, as well as unstable political system that led to an impasse under Mr. Vaz's presidency, in which parliament can appoint the prime minister, but this appointee can be fired by the president.
And this is where we are going to end this edition of the news on Equinoxe Television. Thanks so much for your kind attention. Do have a really pleasant weekend in the company of our programs. Goodbye.